Okay guys, this video is a video for anyone wanting to configure RaspAP and Hostapd. We're going to configure two multiple interfaces running side-by-side configuration. So we're going to set up a WLAN 0 interface for client-side configuration, and we're going to set up a WLAN 1 interface for host or access point mode configuration. There's been a few people out there that seem to be having a lot of issues with it. And yeah, I played around with it for a while, and I managed to come up with a solution that works pretty reliably. So I'll share that with you, and you guys can see how you find it. In this case, I'm using a Raspberry Pi wireless, Raspberry Pi Zero wireless. So I've got an onboard wireless interface, which is my WLAN 0, and I have a USB wireless interface, which is WLAN 1 connected via OTG. I've got a brand new installation of RaspAP, and I have a brand new installation of both Hostapd and RaspAP running at the moment. So the first thing you'll notice, I have installed RaspAP and Hostapd, like I say, but we don't have any Wi-Fi network being broadcast from the Pi at this stage. And so I'll go ahead and show you why that is. So to obviously install the packages, I had to connect to a Wi-Fi network on the Pi, so straight away that's going to disable the wireless interface from entering access point mode. So we're going to log in, and to fix that we're just going to open our WPA supplicant. And we're going to comment out this entire file so that it's completely ignored and it is an empty file. Upon doing that, we'll do a reboot. Straight away you'll see SSID being broadcast. I'm connected via RS232 via serial, by the way, so that's why you can see everything that's happening. So let's boot it up. So what we'll do is you'll see we'll get a network broadcast in here, and that will confirm that RaspAP, or should I say Hostapd, is working properly, and our interface is up and working in access point mode. Get to refresh. Okay, there it is, RaspAI with GUI. So that is working fine. So the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to go and we're going to configure the interfaces and configure DHCP. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up WLAN 1, which is the USB Wi-Fi adapter, as the access point adapter. So that will be the broadcasting adapter, broadcast our SSID. So we're going to give it a static IP, and here we can see it's already. Oh, the other thing I'll just check is just confirm we've got both interfaces up with a WLAN 0 and a WLAN 1. And you can see we currently have DHCP issued on. It'll be static actually. We've installed RaspAP. Yeah, static. So we're going to change that IP. We're just going to make sure we change that to adapter the interface to WLAN 1. So I'm going to make this 192.168.10.254, and that's a /24. 10.254 is our gateway. Just is basically a local host, and also we're going to set DNS to 10.254. This is important that you set the domain name server and the router to allow for routing between the two interfaces, so that'll give you internet when connected in client mode from the access point interface. So we're going to save that. The next thing we're going to do is just set up the DHCP range. So again, we want that to be within the same subnet. So the last usable or is assignable address will be 10.253, and the first assignable will be 10.1, let's say, and that's a /24 255.255.255.0 and a release time of 12 hours. We can set that also to operate on interface 1. I'm sorry, interface WLAN 1. So 10.1 to 10.253. What we can do is we can save that, and we're going to go ahead and just reboot and test it. So we should obviously be able to see the SSID broadcast, connect to it, and be assigned DHCP, and should theoretically then be able to browse into the RaspAP web GUI, which we'll test. Okay. And I think I just made a mistake. I think I actually need to set that to be on WLAN 0 still, because we haven't told RaspAP to use WLAN 1 as the access point interface. So we'll just give it a test, but I don't think it's going to work. Yeah, no, so we've got no DHCP. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go back into let's see, into we'll just check. We're just going to chuck that back on WLAN 0, and we're going to do the same with that. We're going to chuck that back on WLAN 0. So, and we'll reboot, and that'll be good to go. Okay, so we should see that network broadcast. There it is. Just make sure, sometimes it takes a while to update. We'll go ahead and connect to it. No, it's too soon, so we'll just wait. I'm just going to also still booting. Alright, this one here, so we're going to connect to this. And we'll do an IP config and check for DHCP in the 10 subnet. No, wrong password, damn it. Internet secured, so we're connected. No DHCP. Okay, that's interesting. Let's just check that out. Interface is WLAN 0, 10.254. Okay, there we go, just took a while for some reason, but there we go, we've been issued an address in the 10 subnet, 10.138, so we should now be able to browse to 10.254, hit that web server, and we should get the GUI. So now what I'll do is I'll just show you the DHCPD, the static IP configuration, because this file will change when we update it through the RaspAP web interface. Okay, so there we go. So you'll see interface WLAN 0 is up, currently running in hotspot mode. But if we go to configure Wi-Fi client, we're obviously not able to scan for any wireless clients because the interface is in access point mode. So I'm just going to go down to configure networking, and if you have a look at this file, you'll see the format of that file. If I go to WLAN 1, I'm going to set WLAN 0 to DHCP, and I'm going to save settings and apply them. Then I'm going to say WLAN 1, I'm going to make it static, put in the 192.168.10.254. So this is because I'm changing the interfaces over to be host mode or AP on WLAN 1. So I'm going to set WLAN 1 as static. Then I'm going to go to the configure hotspot and change the interface to be used as WLAN 1 and save that. Now if we get out of this and go back in, you'll see the configuration is completely changed. So there's the configuration that's just been written by RaspAP. So on interface WLAN 1, it's set as static as 10.254 like we just did, and DHCP's basically been configured for WLAN 0, which is why it's not in there. And if we just go back to DNS mask, and we'll change that to WLAN 1 for our range, and that should be good to go. So that'll be Hostapd running on interface 1. We'll just do a reboot. and then it's just a matter of getting interface, the WLAN 0 interface running in client mode side by side. Okay. Give it some time to broadcast that network. There it is. What we'll do is we'll connect and just again make sure that we get DHCP issued, which we do. That's now being issued on that new interface, so we can go back in here, go to configure hotspot, and we'll just double check that we are on WLAN 1 and go to dashboard, and now you'll notice that the WLAN 0 interface is showing as down. So we'll go back to configure hotspot and all is good. So now what we're going to do is get that WLAN 0 interface online. So by default, RaspAP is going to look for WLAN 0 as a client interface. If you want to change this, you can do so in the that includes in the RaspAP directory. So, and you just edit the config.php file, and you'll see down here is a define RaspAPI client interface WLAN 0. Just change that to what interface you want to use on the client side, and it will look for that interface. So we're going to leave it WLAN 0 because that's the interface we want to use for client side. Now we're going to go into etc. WPA supplicant directory, and you'll see we just have one WPA supplicant there. So we're going to edit that and just make sure that that's all commented out, which we did. I'm just going to remove that network as well. So comment out that entire file. Okay, I'm going to go back into that file. I'm just going to make a change and I'm going to save it. And I'm going to say yes, but I'm going to save it under a different name. I'm going to save it under -WLAN 0. And I'm going to do the same thing again. And this time I'm going to save it under WLAN 1. Okay, if we list the contents, there we have WPA supplicant, WLAN 0, WPA supplicant, WLAN 1 configs. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go into both of those. WLAN 1.config. And we want to make sure that's entirely commented out as well. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go into the WLAN 0 one, and we're going to uncomment this one because this is the WPA supplement file that we will be writing to, so that needs to be uncommented. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go back into our configuration for RaspAP, config.php, and we're going to check for a line down here called WPA supplicant config. It's obviously set to your default WPA supplicant file. We're going to change that to WLAN 0 so it knows which WLAN, which WPA supplicant file to write to. Save that and do a reboot. And basically our WLAN interface should be then able to be used as a client interface, and connect to Wi-Fi network. And whilst WLAN 1 is still running in AP mode, so we'll give that a test. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and connect to the Wi-Fi again. Probably just need to give it a bit longer to boot, to be fair. Okay, it's connected, and what I'm going to do is open the dashboard again. You'll see it'll still say that interface is down for WLAN 0. Yeah, WLAN 0 interface is down. But if we go to configure Wi-Fi client now, we'll be able to scan for available Wi-Fi networks and connect to them. Okay, so these are the Wi-Fi networks in range. So Lone Tree, we're going to connect to that Wi-Fi as a test. So I'm just going to show you what happens in the WPA supplicant. So we'll do a So you'll see it's empty and uncommented, which is correct. We're going to close that. In here we're going to chuck our password in and add and basically connect. Okay, now from the Pi we should theoretically get DNS and be able to ping out. There you go, there she goes. So we can ping out, got DNS, and if we check that WPA supplicant WLAN 0 file, you'll see it's actually written the Wi-Fi network configuration in there. If you check the others, you'll see that they're still untouched and uncommented, which is exactly what we want. Again, if I uncomment either of these two WPA supplicants, being this default WPA supplicant or WPA supplicant WLAN 1, straight away your AP interface, WLAN 1 interface, will go down and not broadcast. So there we go, and you'll see now that we actually, on that Wi-Fi network, we have got full DNS access. And we can browse the net. Perfectly fine, connected to that network. So that's pretty much it. You can do this, I believe, either way round as far as interfaces are concerned. So you just got to swap the configuration around and you'll get the same results. But that's pretty much how you do it. I've got full internet access, full routing between WLAN 1 and WLAN 0. And I have a perfectly fine, perfectly working access point in client and host mode. So I hope this video helped you guys out, and we'll see how you go if you guys have any issues. But yeah, that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed it. Cheers.